of all, welcome back a familiar face. Malchus Mills has been here before with Dare.
How we doing, Kate?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you today?
We're just fine.
You have been off to the races since 8 a.m. this morning. You have not stopped since. When the campaign officially kicked off, this rent control campaign that you're looking to eventually get on the ballot here in the city in November, but it's going to take a little bit between here and there for the reason of addressing renters' needs here in the community. And I just want to go through some of the statistics that were put forth this morning that come from the Housing Works fact book. 60% of Providence residents are renters. Half of those renters are low income, and more than half of those renters are cost burden. They're using more than 30% of their income. This
Absolutely.
is the well-known statistic of what means cost burden renting. So here's a campaign that is looking to achieve a number of things if put forth before the voters, which would dictate rent increases only once a year and by a certain percentage, renewable one-year leases for all tenants, so landlords can no longer offer only month-to-month tenancies,
Absolutely.
which allows landlords to evict tenants without fault with a 30-day notice, and a rent board to administer the ordinance notifying landlords and tenants of allowable increases, moderating disputes, and publishing annual reports on the city's private market rentals.
Absolutely. We asked for those things because we want the tenants to have a level playing field. Now, with tenant and landlord disputes, when they go to court, the landlord usually has a lawyer, and the tenant is standing there barely able to pay their rent and trying to explain to the judge, what is going on and why. When you got a mouthpiece there for the landlord that is just taking charge, and 9 times out of 10, if not 10, the tenant loses. So with the rent board in place, that gives the tenant people on the rent board just like them to weigh in and to say, well, this has to be done. You know what I mean? The thing is, when tenants bring a complaint against the landlord, it's usually brushed off. It's not taken seriously. So we need some type of procedure, some type of ordinance, some type of legislation where the landlord has to do his job. Essentially, that's what we're doing, looking for the landlord to do his job.
And again, you're trying to get this. This is a campaign, and I want to just go through what the nuts and bolts of it are. It's focused on gathering enough signatures to put the proposal on the ballot in November. So by city charter, initiatives can be brought to the council with 1,000 signatures for qualified electors. So is that where you're at? You have the big campaign kickoff now, and is it literally getting those signatures?
Yes, well, yes, we are. We have a number of other agencies and organizations that are helping us get these signatures so that we can get to the number in time. And then even after that, we're going to need another 6,000 or 7,000 signatures to take before the city council before we can put it on the ballot. And we have a number of other organizations that are helping us and that have signed on to support this campaign. We have the NAACP, we have the George Wiley Center, we have RIHAP, Rhode Island Homeless Advocacy Project, and a number of other organizations that we've been talking to sign on and to also get us help to to get these signatures and make this possible. We want to take this to the people, you know what I'm saying, because I've been in spaces and I've talked about it, and it's well receptive. I mean, it's well received, better than I thought it would be. And so we have a good chance, if we can get it on the ballot, we have a good chance of letting the people speak for themselves and letting them show this is what we need and why we need it.
Just happened today. Talk about this morning's event and who turned out and what you heard from folks who were out there saying why this is needed.
Okay, this morning we have a Tenant and Homeowners Association at Dare, and a couple of our members who lived at 40 Grove Street are being kind of forced out because the new organization, the Student Living, wants to take over the house, then fix it up, and charge students like twice or three times what the rent is now. The two older folks, one of them, Madonna, she is handicapped. Her son it needs help, and it's just not fair for them not to fix the items in the apartment that need to be so that people can live comfortably. That's all folks are looking for. You want to live comfortably. You want to live in a clean apartment. You want to have everything there that you need: the water, the heat, the lights, and whatnot, without being afraid that if you go to the landlord and ask him about these things to try to get these things put in place, that he's going to tell you to leave or he's going to try to put you out.
Now, is this, again, one of the situations where a rent board could come into play in a situation such as this to sort of arbitrate and give some recourse to the renters who don't have the lawyers that the landlords might have?
Yes, this is the very kind of thing that the rent board would take care of. You would take that to the rent board, and both parties would present their case, and the rent board would settle the dispute, thereby not having people going in court and being scared and being worried about, okay, I don't have a chance, and that way, by giving them a chance to air their differences and whatnot, I think disputes could be settled even better for both parties than just by going to court and having the tenants put out, for little or no reason, but because the landlord isn't doing his job or wants to get them out to have somebody else come in and pay more money.
How much are we seeing of that in the community? These sort of, either with its Providence Student Living or other organizations coming in and forcing their hand in a legal manner, so to speak. But how big of a problem is this currently in Providence, do you say?
This is a large problem. We have a few statistics here. I mean, like as you said, 60% of Providence residents rent, and half of them are low-income renters. And 60% of the renters are cost burdened, and this is because landlords are trying to get rich off a investment immediately, and with housing, that's not the way you do that. If you want to make quick money, you flip the house. But we don't want them to do that either. But you're not going to make quick money by overcharging people for a place that is not adequate, is not up to code, is not worth what you are charging them. And we have here, let's see, a majority of Providence renters are people of color, 68% Black, 76% of Latina, 67% Asian Pacific, 86% Native American, and 76% of other mixed race residents.
Renters.
Are renters. I mean, that's a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times it's concentrated, in a few areas, the West End, South Providence, and what we need a way so that these folks can live comfortably. We need a way so that when they pay their rent, they have money, they have other money so that they can spread it around the city, so they can do things and supply the city with money. Money goes around, and if it's just going to one place and stopping, that's not doing anybody any good.
So talk with me about the campaign here, because you say it's resonating with people when you talk with them, and I'm assuming that there's probably some pushback from landlords in certain circles about what this has put forth. But do you think that you're going to be able to get that critical mass and really speak to people, whether they're a renter or not, on the issues that you put forth of fairness?
I think we will. Everybody is, so far, folks have been willing to listen to what we're doing and why we're doing it. And a lot of people have agreed that, the landlord has been given too much leeway and has too much power, just to say, okay, you can get out. And where does that leave people? That leaves people with no other recourse, but to stay and put up with bad conditions, or to try to find another place, which takes more than 30 days if they were going month to month. That just doesn't happen. And so, we want people to be able to have a level playing field with the landlords so that they can push back. So look, you haven't done this, and this is not up to code, and we want this done so that we can live, with with some dignity. I mean, I'm quite sure that where the landlords live and in their house, they don't have any of those problems.
And how big is the issue of month-to-month leases for people who are faced with housing needs and getting a landlord that's saying, well, I'm going to give you this month-to-month lease with the ability to obviously turn someone out within 30 days?
Well, sometimes you get a year lease in the beginning. Then after that year, it's a month-to-month thing, and that is actually prevalent all over the city.
Okay.
Most landlords won't give you a lease because that gives them the option of putting you out. If they give you a lease and put you out before the lease is over, they lose out on the end. So having a lease will actually help protect both people. For the landlord and for the tenant. The tenant doesn't have to worry about being put out, and the landlord doesn't have to worry about getting his rent money as long as he does what he's supposed to do.
And the rent board proposal, what would that look like? How many people would be on the board? Who would comprise the board? What's the thoughts as to what that board would look like?
Well, we're proposing 9, 3 tenants, 3 landlords, someone from code enforcement from the city, someone from the planning department, and if there's another, but it's going to be 3 folks, and the 3 that are from the city, they cannot be landlords, because then that would tip the scales.
Yes.
That would tip the scales the other way. But for a community which is made up of all different kind of people, including landlords, including people that work for the city, you have to think about the community. Why is it that the landlords have so much power for people to be afraid to say, this is what I need in order for my family to live comfortably?
So we're going to see more from DARE moving forward. We just saw the kickoff today. I'm assuming we're going to see more communications, more social media advocacy. So if folks are interested, want to sign up for it, you're going to be out there.
Absolutely. You can reach us at 351-6960. That's 351-6960. You can ask for myself, Malchus Mills, or you can ask for Christopher Rotundo Samir. We will, right now, DARE is sort of in a little wreck because we've had some issues, with the weather, with pipes busting. So we are in the middle of remodeling, but we should be done with that in about a week or so. And we're looking forward to helping every and anyone who needs help in the housing industry. Please come on down and see us. Let us know what your problems are. We have lawyers still for foreclosure. We have lawyers that help with landlord-tenant disputes. Come on down and give us a hand, because with this rent control campaign, we're going to need all hands on deck. So all of you who feel as though this is a good idea and it's something you want to get behind, please come on down so we can explain more of it and we can put you to work.
And it's an election year. Do you think this is a little bit of a litmus test that people should, if they support this, ask the candidates and politicians?
Yes, we should. Yeah. In fact, we're going to find out how far the candidates are going to go on this particular issue, because it's election year, and we hope that they see the betterment and better treatment of people, on this issue, because that's really what it's all about.
Well, Malchus, I appreciate your coming back into the Golocal studios to share this. Again, as the campaign kick off today, we'll provide those links on Go Local following this as well. So we'll have, I'm sure, you back in studio again soon. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Of course, and as you're here, I'm going to wrap up today as we're here on Valentine's Day. 3 o'clock was Rick Simone with the Taste. He had food, wine, bread, cheese, kind of fun last-minute Valentine's things. Kind of a housing-specific, Housing and Heart today on Go Local. We had Councilwoman Mary Kay Harris talk about the Archives exhibit for Black History Month, Home, the housing struggle since 1950 here in Providence. Dr. Todd Elizewski from Providence College just got a big award from a Journal of Medicine. And Malchus Mills coming in from Dare Today to talk about the kickoff campaign for the rent control campaign. So we'll be back here tomorrow in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. We appreciate your watching. We appreciate your feedback. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Go Local News Editor Kate Nagel.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.